Thanks for joining us this morning. You're watching the Tennessee Valley this morning. Dan Howell with Nikki Runyon here. 647 and 66 degrees. I have a very special guest this morning. We're going to talk about the nation's birthday and how we celebrate. And with us is Associate Pastor James Sears, Mount Olive Ministries. Welcome, James.
Hello, James.
Thank you for allowing me to be here with you.
Good to have you with us today. Mount Olive Ministries, of course, a wonderful citizen. I call him a corporate citizen, but it's not a corporation, it's a church citizen, because you guys are involved in so many things, activities in this community, and you're just, it's just great to have you guys in this community.
Well, our pastor has really instilled in all the staff and the church that we are part of the community. The church should not be set aside from the community, and so we put a lot of effort in reaching out to the community and doing what we can and being a part of it.
Yeah. I know they've been involved with the Mayor's Coalition when they find individuals in need, certain areas. The church, Mount Olive, one of the first organizations to step up and say, hey, we can help.
Actually, one of the first storms that came through came right in front of our church. And as soon as that one came through, we began cutting trees immediately after that morning and continued on for several weeks. A lot of hurting families out there.
Yeah, and you're able to mobilize so many volunteers from your congregation. And of course, your father, Pastor Gary Sears, is a dear friend and just really has made an impact on this community, and appreciate you being here today to tell us about the 4th of July celebration, which has been sponsored by Mount Olive for how many years?
Man, I guess it's probably been 15 years ago that we actually started in a small pasture there beside the church, and it started out kind of just as a church event.
Yeah.
And so many of the community came by and they seen what was happening. They said, we want to stop and be a part. So it got so large we had to move it to Tri-State, and it's just been a great event.
I remember that. I visited when it first started, the pastor out there off of Harrison Pike.
Right.
And hard to find a place to park sometimes.
Yes, it was.
Some of those events. And then it grew and grew and grew, and Tri-State worked well, and you had live entertainment, live music, brought in some big names.
Yes, we did.
From time to time, and wow, it would just overflow the fairgrounds.
Yes.
But the last year, I guess, was the last year that it was at Tri-State, and it's moving. Tell us about that.
Well, what we wanted to do is, it was hard for our staff and for our pastor to feel right about investing that kind of money in entertainment and games and things of that sort when there are families in our community that are homeless due to the tornadoes that came through. And so what we wanted to do was we wanted to be able to bring the fireworks back to the Bradley Square Mall, not have the entertainment as such, still do the fireworks, the same show, and that is thanks should go to Larry Hill Ford, because he actually sponsors that and purchases the fireworks for us. But to be able to have an opportunity to raise funds for disaster relief. And Mix 104.1 will be there, and they're going to have a booth set up that people can drop off donations. If you want to be a part of that, all of the money that will come in will be dispersed back into the community within 6 months.
Wow.
I think that's important to say. And just give us an opportunity to pour back into the community, because that's what really needs to happen at this time.
Well, that's a great alternative to what you've been doing, and I think people undoubtedly support that. So it's not only a great fireworks display, but it's also a fundraiser for the community. We've got actually hundreds of families who are suffering. At last count, I think FEMA said they had registered about 1,500 families that were affected by the storm.
You know, Dan, I've lived in so many different states. I've lived in 6 states. And I have never seen a community come together like they did for this. And we were really motivated right after it happened. But if you drive in those areas, there is still a tremendous need.
Oh, there is.
And it's easy to forget as time passes, but we can't forget.
Out of sight, out of mind.
We've still got families out there that need help.
They really do. Some
and
people living in tents.
this community will step up. I believe that.
Yeah, and they are. And of course, the long-term disaster recovery committee or organization is working hard in that direction, and bringing groups and organizations like Mount Olive together, and it's really focusing on recovery. Now, This is a fundraiser, so in addition, you said the fireworks were donated by Larry Hill Ford,
Yes.
another great corporate citizen for Bradley County.
Yes, he is.
And are there other ways to donate and contribute to this effort?
Yeah, we're going to have a silent auction that will be inside the mall.
Okay.
That will begin about 6 o'clock on July 4th. The event usually takes place the Sunday before the 4th.
Right.
But because we're moving it to Bradley Square Mall, we decided to do it on the 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
The mall will have extended hours that day so that you can come by. If you want to get there early, you can come in, shop at the place. Different places inside the mall have donated things for the silent auction. All the proceeds of that will go back into the disaster relief.
Great.
The other thing is just get involved. You know, when there are times when the Mayor's Coalition steps up and says, "Hey, we need help here," get involved with it, and let's make a difference.
Oh yeah, and so many people are, as you said.
Yeah.
And there will be a live broadcast.
Live
WCLA?
broadcast 104.1 will be there. We'll be doing giveaways throughout the radio
really?
that
Oh,
night.
that's good.
So it'll be a good opportunity. It's a good family event. There's over 900 shells that will be shot in this fireworks.
Really?
So it's a big event.
That
And
is
everybody
gonna
of
be a
all
big event.
ages loves fireworks.
Oh, yes.
Now,
They're
I
always
know
so
one
pretty.
year Mix 104.1. I used to do those call letters. You'd think I'd remember them. Mix 104.1. They encouraged people to turn their radio on, and they actually played music in sync with the fireworks. Do you know if they're planning that again this year?
Absolutely. Pyro Shows, who is in Middle Tennessee, they do our fireworks for us every year, and they sync the fireworks to the music. So
That's amazing.
oh,
How do
it's
they do
incredible!
that?
It's incredible. So you get to feel the beat of the fireworks as
Yeah.
it goes to the music. So you can turn on to 104.1 during the fireworks show and listen as you're watching the show. It's pretty incredible.
It is.
I've
We did
gotta
that last
do
year.
that. I've got to do that. It was fun last year. The viewing area. What's the best viewing area around the mall,
Okay.
James?
The fireworks will actually be shot from behind Bradley Square Mall.
Okay.
So anywhere within, I think they said it's a 1.5 2-mile radius, you will be able to see the show. Now, optimum viewing will obviously be right there at the mall.
Right.
The Cleveland Police Department, along with Bradley Square Mall officials, have worked really hard to make sure that this is a good event for everybody. So exiting should be easy for everyone. But any areas around there will be a great viewing area for the fireworks.
That's great. I won't be able to see them from where I live, but I'll get close.
Right.
And-
We normally park over by TJ Maxx and that
Yeah.
parking lot over there.
Yeah.
That's where we like to park.
And even on somewhere on businesses on Keith Street, North Keith Street, along in that shopping area there around Bilo.
Yes.
I imagine those parking spaces will be available.
Yeah,
as
and
well.
it's still, I don't want to take away from the fact that it's still a family event.
Yeah.
We're not doing the big inflatables, we're not doing the live entertainment, but it's still a family event. Come early, visit one of the restaurants around the mall,
yeah.
come into the mall, shop,
Yeah.
and get there early, and then spend time. Bring a picnic if you want.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
Sit in
a
the
good
parking
idea.
lot, watch fireworks.
And visit the silent auction. Where in the mall will that be?
It's actually going to be in the center of the mall. So it'll be outside of the stores. It's
Okay.
not back at the food court. Sometimes people do things at the food court. But it's actually in the center of the mall.
In the center of the mall.
Is the center where the recliners are right there, and then you've got the little cell phone?
Yes.
Okay. And what kind of items? Any idea what kind of?
There's gift cards that the mall has donated. I think they've got an Xbox 360 maybe that's been donated. Lots of good things.
Yeah.
Yeah, come by and visit.
Go by, and again, it all goes for disaster relief here in Bradley County. I plan to be there, and my grandson's in town, and my
Great.
We'll be
son and
there.
his wife will be in later to pick up their son. I think they want to take him home with them. They miss him.
Aw. You're going to miss him then.
But they'll be here through the 4th, so we'll make that a family event. It's always a lot of fun as we celebrate, what is it, our nation's 225th?
I don't know.
It's
gotta be right around 225.
1776. Quick, somebody, get that for me. I think it's about 225 years, I think. So what a great celebration. And as we celebrate our nation's birthday. And don't you love birthdays?
I do.
My grandson's, little side note here, my grandson's birthday is on July 3rd.
Wow.
And he'll be 15 this year. But when he was much, much younger,
Right.
I would always tell him that the whole country is celebrating your birthday.
That's right, with
And-
fireworks.
Yeah, with
and-
fireworks.
Isn't this
Best
neat?
birthday party ever,
That's
right?
right.
Isn't this neat that we all celebrate Grant's birthday? And I think he may have believed me for about 5 minutes. I'm not sure. So what else is going on at Mount Olive? I know you guys are involved in a lot of things, James.
We are. We are just trying to be, again, as heavily involved in the community as we can. Pastor has been working on some sermon series, and we're just moving forward in what we're trying to accomplish. Mount Olive is a church to come home to, as we say, and we want people to feel a part of not just the church but the community and be involved.
I was talking to one of your members the other day who happens to work in the Election Commission, Pam Matthews, and she was telling me about a big quilt show coming up later this month.
There is. We do a big quilt show, and that's a great opportunity for a lot of, there's a lot of people that are into looking at quilts. Quilting.
Yeah.
I remember my grandmother doing it when I was a child. And they always do one quilt. I think they do to raise money for cancer research, and they do a door prize, I think, for that. So.
Now, when will that be taking place?
That's actually in November, I think.
Somewhere along in there.
Yeah, it's in the fall.
The holidays.
The holidays, yeah.
She told me, and we'll be hearing more about that. We'll probably get Pam or somebody on the show to tell us all about it.
Yeah, and it's a big group of ladies that get together every Monday night. I'm sure if there's anyone out there that enjoys quilting, it's held at one of our facilities there on the campus, and just come on out and quilt with
That'll
them.
be a lot of fun.
That's exactly what it is. It's a quilting club. Yeah, it's a quilting club.
Quilting club. Yeah, quilting bee.
Quilting bee. Yeah,
that's
what
what
they
they used to call them
call
a
it.
long time ago. Of course, the immediate interest is the big fireworks show coming up on Monday night, and we don't know what time it gets dark.
Yeah, it's going to start somewhere between 9:20 and 9:30.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we get it good and dark, because the darker it is, the better the fireworks show.
Yeah.
And again, if you're sitting at the mall, the fireworks will be huge because they're going to be right above your head. And it is, if you've never sat that close to a fireworks show.
I'm always scared one of the shells is
Yeah,
going to come
no,
down.
they work really
before.
hard. They work really hard to make sure that we're within a distance that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And of course, you're going to be shielded by the mall. So
True.
That happened to me one time. I went to Riverbend with a friend and fireworks, and I was literally just almost under it, and shrapnel was falling all around me.
Right,
And
that's happened to me before,
I don't
too.
want to get this close again.
I know.
But it was beautiful, and it will be this Monday as well. So put that on your calendar, and remember, Mount Olive Ministry is sponsoring this fireworks display, celebration of our country's birthday, coming up Monday about dark.
Yeah, Monday about dark. And one other thing, Dan, that I want to mention is there's another need in our community, and that is there's a lot of homes that don't have air conditioning. And the Salvation Army is going to be there that day collecting fans.
Good.
So if you have the ability to pick up a $15, $20 fan, bring it by that night as well. That would be a great blessing to our community as well.
And it's so hot outside too.
It is so hot, and if you don't believe it, turn your air conditioner off. And sit in your house for a day and see what some of these families. It's miserable.
It is, and especially the elderly and people with small children.
Yes,
they need some relief from the heat. Well, our community always responds, as you know, Pastor.
Absolutely.
And, we appreciate everyone who gets involved, and appreciate you and Mount Olive Ministry and your
so nice
father,
to meet you.
Pastor
It's a
Gary
pleasure to
Shears.
meet you.
Appreciate you coming in and sharing with us today and telling us about the big celebration. We plan to be there.
Well, great. I look forward to seeing you there.
Associate Pastor James Sears from Mount Olive Ministries, and don't forget the big fireworks display on Monday. 7:01. Got to take a break. Back with some headline news in just a moment. Don't go away.
Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland, is your #1 Dodge Chrysler and Jeep dealer in this area. Stop by and see the brand new 2011 Chrysler 200. The 200 is essentially a new nameplate with a significant facelift to the outgoing 2010 Chrysler Sebring. A beautiful vehicle at an unbeatable price. And while you're there, check out the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee and the newly designed Dodge Durango. Redesigned, revamped, and reinvigorated. Yes, the Dodge Durango is back, bigger and better than ever. Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep offers a complete parts and service department with qualified service technicians to fix and repair your vehicle. So for your next brand new or pre-owned vehicle, make it Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland.
Hello, I'm Pastor Greg Casto of the United Christian Church here at 2200 Peerless Road, Cleveland, Tennessee. I want you to make plans right now to be here at our Holy Ghost Camp Meeting 2011 with signs, wonders, and miracles. Why don't you go to our website right now and get all the information, or call the number on the screen, because you're not going to want to miss these day service, evening service, great speakers, choirs, singers, such great talent. You're going to want to be here in Cleveland, Tennessee.
I'm Wes Robbins with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. When it comes to employee benefits, we've got you covered. Call me today for the best service and best solutions to your group health and employee benefits needs. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
I'm Dr. James Markham, host of the television program Heart of Health, seen right here on WTNB television, Thursday at 7 o'clock, Friday at 8 a.m., or Sunday at 3:30 p.m.
Volunteer Ridipest LLC has been serving Cleveland and the surrounding areas for over 40 years. Their qualified, experienced technicians are trained in all the latest techniques to keep your home pest-free. Volunteer Ridipest LLC offers Mosquito Guard, which keeps mosquitoes out of your yard and out of your life. Their monthly and quarterly treatments are backed by their 100% money-back guarantee. For all your pest removal needs, call Volunteer Ridipest LLC today at 423-472-7736.
And you're watching the Tennessee Valley this morning, 7:03 your time, a pleasant 66 degrees on this Thursday morning. In your headline news, your city water and sewer rates are going to go up. The Cleveland City Council formally adopted a new budget that includes a 4.78% increase in water rates and a 3.99% increase in sewer rates. Councilman Bill Estes, David May, Dale Hughes, and Vice Mayor Avery Johnson voted for the hike. Councilman George Poe, Richard Banks, and Charlie McKenzie opposed it, and Mayor Tom Rowland says he will not veto that decision. Cleveland resident Matt Ryerson is currently in second place in the Sears Blue Tool Crew Unsung Heroes Dad's Making a Difference contest. Well, that's a mouthful. The winner will be decided by votes from individuals like you on Sears Blue Tool Crew's Facebook page, and you can vote this way: facebook.com/Sears Blue Tool Crew. Then you like the page, like you do on Facebook. And once you do that, you can select who should win the $30,000 grand prize for a community project. If he wins, Matt says this money will be used for disaster relief right here in Bradley County. Cleveland Municipal Planning Commission unanimously approved annexing about 39 acres of Hardwick Farm for a 144 multifamily unit housing complex. That site adjoins an eastern boundary of about 19 acres owned by Sam's Club on Stewart Road on the north side of the street, there close to Hobby Lobby. And that's your headline news. Let's take a look at your weather forecast. Not too bad today. Mostly sunny today and tomorrow. Chance of rain on Saturday, but not enough to spoil your weekend, I don't think. Highs today through Saturday, low to mid 90s with overnight lows in the low to upper 60s. Quite a range there. Right now it's a very pleasant 66 degrees, and it looks like a pretty good 4th of July weekend shaping up for us. And it's 7:05. We are back, and I want to thank Pastor James Sears, for coming in and telling us about the fireworks display. And right now we have another special guest, and he's no stranger to our viewers, Eric Gardner, who is the owner of Ridipest. And it's that time of year, Eric, when there are all kinds of little pests out there. I'm not talking about the two-legged kind. I'm talking about the bugs kind. And you specialize in that.
We do. This is our big season, usually from April through October. That's when the bugs are really out in force, and that's when we're the busiest.
Yeah, right. Boy, they're out at my house. Of course, I live, as you mentioned off the air, close to the water and in the woods.
And do you have a bad problem with mosquitoes being close to the water?
Yeah.
Okay, do you have a mosquito guard service? I believe I've heard something about
That's
that.
a new service we started this year. We're very excited about it. The reason I'm so excited about it is because it's something people have been needing for a long time. You know, a lot of people can't go out in their backyard, can't have a cookout, can't let the children play outside because they come in with 15 or 20 mosquito bites.
Right.
Well, this treatment program, we treat the entire lawn, the shrubbery, the grass, everything in the lawn where mosquitoes like to hide out during the daytime, then they come out at night to feed, and this completely eliminates them.
And I'm
Really?
so confident in this that we have a 100% money back guarantee. You get
100%?
you get one bite, we'll come back and treat for free. If you're still not happy, I'll give your money back.
Wow.
Wonderful, Eric.
Well,
You can't beat that.
yeah, that's a pretty good guarantee.
My husband always says, if the wind's blowing, you won't get bit by mosquitoes. Is that fact or fiction?
It would have to be blowing pretty stiffly.
Like gale force winds?
Yeah, so it just blows them in the other yard.
I
Yeah.
know. I told
Well,
him.
you know,
I
I've
said,
found
no,
that to be
doesn't
true.
matter.
I've got ceiling fans. I like to sit in my porch swing, and I've got ceiling fans front and back. And I turn those on when I'm out there, but I notice they don't blow them away all the time. It's got to be blowing pretty hard.
It helps, but
Yeah.
they can still get on you.
Yeah. So this is, I've seen all kinds of mosquito treatment things, and some of them are these little standalone machines. It's supposed to guard your, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to attract the mosquitoes, and it captures them in the basket or whatever. Those are expensive. But this is a treatment. You actually treat the lawn and the shrubs.
We have a backpack mist machine, and it actually blows it out in a real fine particulate mist all over the shrubbery. It blows it out 120 miles an hour. The
Really?
reason that's important because the mosquitoes actually get to the center of the bush. They're not out on the outer leaves, so if you just spray it, it's not going to get to where they are.
I never thought of that.
This will blow it through the bush, so it gets to the center.
Oh, I see.
And when I started the treatment program, we experimented a little bit on a few lawns. And I was expecting if we could get 80 to 90% success, I would feel pretty good.
Right.
Well, we would treat the lawns, and they would go out for a full month and not get a single bite. So it was eliminating them completely
For a whole month.
for an entire month. And you know, if we have a rainy season, a rainy spell, it might not last quite a month, but that's what we're finding, about 30 days, and then they start popping up again, do another treatment, and takes care of them.
And Eric, the mosquito bites can be, they're itchy and they're bothersome, but they can also be dangerous, can't they?
They can be. Mosquitoes can carry a lot of different diseases. West Nile is probably the most, you know, it gets the most publicity because there are some cases around here every year. But they can carry a lot of different things that may not be deadly, but can still make you sick and trip to the doctor.
Right.
Wow. So in addition to the mosquitoes, what other pests are prominent this time of year?
We get a lot of calls for ants getting into people's homes, you know, coming in from work and they're all over the kitchen
What about
sink.
spiders?
Spiders. We always get calls for spiders all year round. A lot of people think in the wintertime, you know, the bugs go away. Well, they don't go away.
They come
I
in.
mean, they come in. And
They're trying to get warm too, right?
I used to, the other house I lived in before I moved to where I am now, I had a problem with fire ants. Boy, those are a booger when they bite you, and they're hard to get rid of. What do you suggest?
They can be very difficult to get rid of. Most people make the mistake of treating them with what is known as a repellent pesticide. You spray it, it irritates them, it kills some of them, but the majority move somewhere else. Sometimes they'll separate. Instead of one mound, you have two mounds.
End up two. Yeah.
That happens a lot. What we use is a non-repellent. We put it directly on the mound. They don't even know they've been treated. They stay there. If they do move, it contaminates them. They take it with them. We've had very good
So if
success
they
with
relocate and make another little place, then it'll contaminate all that too?
Usually within 3 to 4 days, the entire colony's dead.
Wonderful.
I see.
So we've had really
That's
good
wonderful.
success with that.
Eric, how long have you been in business?
We've been in business 41 years.
Wow. So you've been doing it long enough to.
Now, I haven't been there that long.
Yeah,
My
but-
parents started the business,
So
and,
this is
and
a-
I,
yeah,
I've been
family
doing it 28
business.
years.
Right.
A family business. Well, that's the kind I like to do business with. Good local family business. And so 41 years, you ought to know what you're doing, but now
That's
We've pretty well got it figured out.
I was
Very,
going to say, you figured it out.
very few things we haven't seen.
Eric, now whenever you have these treatments done, how often do you
For the
recommend having them?
mosquito treatments, we recommend every month, every 30 days, have the treatment done. We just do it from April through October. November through March, mosquitoes are dormant after the first hard freeze. And they come back usually the first or second week in April.
Right.
So we don't charge you or want you to spend money when you don't need it.
Yeah.
So with our quarterly treatments, we recommend every 90 days. The material, and that's for keeping the insects out of your home.
Yeah.
Now, most pest control companies, if you've ever had pest control service done before, usually are in and out in 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
With our company, our guys take at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half to do the treatment, because that's what it takes to do it right. So we want to make sure when we come, you don't need us for another 90 days. We do the job right. Use micro-encapsulated products that will last for a full 90 days.
We crawl under your crawl space, treat under there. Most companies don't do that. If necessary, we go in the attic, treat up there. So we have the home completely surrounded with the protection, so you're not going to have a problem.
Yeah. Now, what about these chemicals that you use? Safe for family pets?
Yeah, everything we use, I research everything we use very carefully before we allow it to be used. We just have a certain list of material we use. Everything is either micro-encapsulated, odorless, very safe. We apply things in such a way that humans or pets aren't going to come in contact with it.
Oh, I see.
So, you know, it's like driving a car. You have somebody who knows what they're doing behind the wheel, very safe. You get somebody inexperienced, doesn't know what they're doing, it can be very dangerous.
That's
Well,
true.
we know what we're doing. We put it in the right spots in the right amount, so it's
So
very
if you
safe.
have allergies or somebody that's very sensitive to allergies in the home, they wouldn't need to leave for a few
No.
hours while you're treating it?
Typically not. It just depends on the severity of their allergy.
Right.
If they have a respiratory problem, but most of the time we use things that are completely odorless. They don't even know we've been there.
Right. And I've got a problem, well, not a problem, but I do have a few camel crickets, and they seem to be right in the bathroom. I don't know if that's a common area for
It
them where
is.
it's wetter, but those things are so, I mean, you walk in there and they see them hopping around. So, I hate
don't have
them.
them inside, but I have them under the house.
Right.
They love damp, dark places.
Right.
And I don't know that they hurt anything, but they
They
sure
sure are
are
ugly.
annoying.
They are annoying.
They're so ugly.
They don't really damage anything, but they usually, their population increases all summer.
Oh, yeah.
And then by fall, when it gets cold in the crawl space, they move into the heated portion of the house. And the reason they're in the bathrooms is because they come up around the pipes.
That's right.
And they get into the vanity or under the tub, then they find their way into the bathroom.
Yeah.
So where there's one, there's more.
Yeah, we can do a treatment under the crawl space, completely wipe them out. Again, everything we do is money back guaranteed. If you still have them, we'll treat again. If
Yeah.
you know you're not happy, we'll give you money back.
Now, what about costs, especially on the mosquito treatment? How cost effective
The
is it?
typical yard usually runs around $60 a treatment.
Oh, that's
so
not bad.
so compared with some of these misting systems and the machine
Right.
you were talking
Yeah.
about, very affordable.
It is.
And you just need use it when you need it. You
Do you
don't
have to
you-
sign a contract? or
We
can
to
you-
get that price, there is a 6-month treatment program.
Okay.
So if you we do it, we carry it from one season to the next. So if you sign up now, let's say in July, the remaining treatments we do next April, May, and June.
Sure.
So we're not going to do it again
Yeah.
when you don't need
Right.
it.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've got a quick spider question for you. Brown recluse spiders, how common? I mean, they're pretty common in this.
They are fairly
state, right?
common. Not as common as a lot of people think. We get a lot of calls. I've got a brown recluse spider, and we go, and it's a wolf spider.
And I've
Oh,
always heard you save it when you kill
Yeah,
it.
if you think you
I
have
smash
one.
mine beyond recognition. Though. But you put it in a bag,
yeah,
you put it in the freezer. is
that
what you
helps
do?
us. If you can keep the specimen, put it in a
Right.
plastic bag, you can put it in the freezer, just
Okay.
put it in a jar, let us see it. And then we can identify what it is. Because there's
Right.
different treatment procedures
Oh,
for
there
different
is.
pests.
Right.
You don't want to, one size doesn't fit all.
Right.
So if we know what it is, we know where to look for it and how to treat for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you're having a pest problem, and we're not talking about your neighbors.
He won't do anything about the neighbors.
No, he can't help the neighbors. If you're having a pest problem with mosquitoes and those kind of bugs we've been talking about, you need to call Ritapest. They're local, been in business 41 years. Family business, the best kind, folks. And they know what they're doing. You need to give Eric a call at Ritapest. And what's the number?
472-7736.
472-7736.
Do you have a website
What
where
We
they can
do.
visit?
www.volpest.com.
Volpest.com. That's easy to remember. Everybody's a Vol fan, and so put pest on the end of it. Volpest.com. Well, I may have to get you to come and treat my mosquitoes. Not treat them, but get rid of them.
Treat him to dinner.
Treat them to dinner.
Treat 'em to dinner,
I'm
out
their
of the
dinner,
house.
and They need to get rid of them. Eric Gardner, thanks so much for coming
Thanks,
by.
Eric. It was so
It's
good to
always
see
good
you.
to see
Good to
you.
see you.
Appreciate you coming by. It is 7:15, and we'll be back in just a moment with more on the Tennessee Valley this morning.
Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland, is your #1 Dodge Chrysler and Jeep dealer in this area. Stop by and see the brand new 2011 Chrysler 200. The 200 is essentially a new nameplate with a significant facelift to the outgoing 2010 Chrysler Sebring. A beautiful vehicle at an unbeatable price. And while you're there, check out the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee and the newly designed Dodge Durango. Redesigned, revamped, and reinvigorated. Yes, the Dodge Dodge Durango is back, bigger and better than ever. Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep offers a complete parts and service department with qualified service technicians to fix and repair your vehicle. So for your next brand new or pre-owned vehicle, make it Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland.
Volunteer Ritapest LLC has been serving Cleveland and the surrounding areas for over 40 years. Their qualified, experienced technicians are trained in all the latest techniques to keep your home pest-free. Volunteer Ritapest LLC offers Mosquito Guard, which keeps mosquitoes out of your yard and out of your life. Their monthly and quarterly treatments are backed by their 100% money-back guarantee. For all your pest removal needs, call Volunteer Ritapest LLC today at 423-472-7736.
I'm Dr. James Markham, host of the television program Heart of Health, seen right here on WTNB television. Thursday at 7 o'clock, Friday at 8 a.m., or Sunday at 3:30 p.m.
Hello, I'm Pastor Greg Casto of the United Christian Church here at 2200 Peerless Road, Cleveland, Tennessee. I want you to make plans right now to be here at our Holy Ghost Camp Meeting 2011 with signs, wonders, and miracles. Why don't you go to our website right now and get all the information, or call the number on the screen, because you're not going to want to miss these day service, evening service, great speakers, choirs, singers, such great talent. You're going to want to be here in Cleveland, Tennessee.
I'm Kathy Guy with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. Call us today for all your personal insurance needs. With 28 years in the insurance business, I have the solutions and pricing you are looking for. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
It's 7:18. I want to thank Eric Gardner for coming by and telling me how to get rid of those pesky mosquitoes.
Those pesky pests.
Do you have any pests at your house? I'm talking about the bug kind now.
You know, Dan, I don't think so. We don't have many pest problems. So.
Well, I live in the woods and close to the water, so I've got tons of mosquitoes and lots of pests. And,
You didn't ask him about the granddaddy longlegs.
I
We
forgot to ask
him
about that. I've got just a gazillion granddaddy longlegs, and I have to knock them off the garage door before I can get in. But anyhow, we'll figure that out.
If he could take care of the rain.
Yeah.
We've got rain at the house, so.
Oh yeah.
A little much this past week.
We've had a bunch. Of course, I didn't have much. I was in Seattle, but no rain.
No rain in
everybody says
Seattle?
don't go to Seattle. It rains all the time. We had beautiful weather. Been there twice. Beautiful weather both
Was it
times.
as hot there as it is here?
Oh no, the high was 75.
Oh, that's perfect.
It was just
perfect baseball weather.
Fantastic. We had a great time. Byron Winters is here from Landmark Insurance and
Hello, Byron.
Brokerage, and good to see Byron again. Comes in every Thursday and
good to be
tells us
seen.
how to take care of our finances and our insurance. And last week, let's see, was I here? Yes, I was here last week. We talked about auto insurance, but we didn't get done.
We didn't get done, Dan.
We're
I
gonna
don't know
talk-
we'll ever finish.
We probably
We're gonna
not.
keep
It's
at
an
this.
ongoing subject. It takes on a life of its own, as they say. But first of all, for those who may be viewing for the first time, where is Landmark located?
Landmark is located across from the YMCA
Okay.
on Stewart Road. Longtime Cleveland residents might know it as the old Coppinger Building.
Yeah, I remember when it was the old Coppinger Building. In fact, that kind of dating myself.
I don't, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, you heard about it. Well, I can tell you about it. And what do you do there? You're the some kind of specialist, I know.
Commercial and personal lines insurance agent, a mouthful. Essentially, home and auto, business insurance, general liability, workers' comp.
Okay.
The agency does everything, but that's what I focus on.
Yeah, and we talked about auto insurance last week. Talked about consumer awareness and things you need to know about. And if you've got teenagers coming up, I'm past that stage, thankfully, but I've got grandkids that my children are having to worry about.
Right.
So that's
Don't
something.
let them get licensed.
Don't let them get. That cures your insurance
Yeah,
problem.
that's a way to fix
Just
that.
Keeps your rates low.
Don't get
Less
a
worry
license.
altogether, right?
What are we going to talk about today, Byron?
More auto insurance.
Okay.
Dan. So last week we talked about liability insurance
Uh-huh.
and the importance of liability insurance and not carrying too low a limit. And so this week I thought we would talk about liability versus full coverage. That's not exactly the correct terms, but that's the way most of us think about it. It's liability or full coverage,
Right.
one or the other.
Is there anything else in between?
There are some things in between. Comprehensive and collision
Yeah.
comprise full coverage along with liability.
Yeah.
And so just liability has no comprehensive or collision, and just adding one of those still isn't full coverage. You need both of those to have.
Liability
Right.
protects the other guy. And collision protects me?
Liability protects us from you.
I see.
Right? And then full coverage with comprehensive and collision would then protect your auto in an at-fault
So
accident.
if it was a one-car accident, that would protect my vehicle. And if liability protects the other guy if I run into somebody. Hopefully that
Yeah,
won't
so that
happen.
would mean if you had an accident and you had liability, their damage would be covered, but you would be responsible out of pocket for your own. Is
Well,
that correct?
if your limits are too low, you may be responsible from the court of law and lawsuits and whatnot for what your liability coverage didn't cover.
Gotcha.
Liability.
Okay.
Now, what do you mean by limits? Talk
Limits
about
would liability limits are there's 3 limits, and the state requires very low limits: 25, 50, and 15. Those are in $1,000 increments, so 25,000 per person bodily injury, and then 50,000 per occurrence per accident, and then 15,000 for property. And so property would be other autos, light poles, fences, those little AT&T telephone boxes that are real small that cost a lot of money, about $75,000.
Woo.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
That
So-
expensive?
Man.
Well, that's been some years ago. They might be more now. I don't.
Now, if you have liability insurance and say it's your fault and the other guy's hurt and his car's messed up, what does your insurance liability pay for?
Well, I'm not going to cover everything. There's so many things we could talk about, but I'll cover some of the high points.
Okay.
So don't blame me if I miss something.
Byron said.
Consult your insurance agent instead of me on television here. But it would be bodily injury, which could be medical expenses.
Medical expense,
ER, the doctor bills as well. Funeral expenses if it got bad enough. Loss of income maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
legal fees?
Legal fees,
in a lawsuit of some kind. So that's
light
what
poles.
liability does. Light poles. Those are expensive, by the way. Wow.
Light poles are expensive.
Property
is it?
damage, if you run into somebody's fence, I suppose, it would.
Mailboxes.
Yeah, which has happened.
Not your car, but all that property. So
Yeah.
it's other people's property.
Okay.
Right, okay.
And so you need to make sure that you have the proper amount of limits, that your limits are high enough
They're
to
high
take
enough.
care of the light poles.
Because if your limit is not high enough, when the accident occurs, you said you may be
You're-
looking at a lawsuit.
If
and
it's
then
your fault, you're liable, and if your limits aren't enough to cover,
the damage, then you look at
then
yeah.
you take one on the chin, and if you don't have the money in the bank, then
Yeah.
maybe bankruptcy, and who knows?
Right, okay.
Okay, let's say you only have liability insurance and you have a decent car, it's pretty nice, and then you come out from the airport, you've been somewhere and you can't find your car and discover it's stolen.
If you only have liability insurance, you're not covered.
Oh.
So hopefully they gently use your car before,
replace it.
before the authorities
And
find
bring
it, right? And so
park
they
it
find
back.
it washed and cleaned up for you.
Yeah, they just came to
In
borrow it
most
and clean
cases,
it
they're
up.
going to trash the car, right? And you're not going to have any coverage. So you need comprehensive. Comprehensive
So-
coverage. Comprehensive and liability still isn't full coverage, but your car is protected from theft
Yeah.
and some other things if you back into a mailbox.
What about
Right.
hail damage?
Hail damage will be covered under comprehensive.
Okay.
So if
Okay.
you only
A lot
have
of-
liability,
We've had a lot of that lately,
I
hail
know.
damage. A lot of folks suffering with hail damage on their vehicles. So if your car is stolen, liability won't cover it.
liability will
Out
not
of
cover
luck.
it.
Got to have comprehensive.
Comprehensive.
Okay. Comprehensive then, what's that cover?
It's termed how the insurance term for, or the insurance definition for comprehensive is other than collision.
Okay.
So collision with another automobile is what collision covers. So collision, comprehensive, and liability. Those three things are full coverage. So if you don't have collision and you get in an at-fault accident, your car is not covered.
Okay.
Other person's cars are covered. Maybe other property, fences, light
Medical
poles.
expenses for the other person?
Yes. Well, if the limits are high enough.
Well, up to you.
And so, so collision is only collision with another vehicle. So comprehensive is anything else they call it other than collision. So
Okay.
other property,
Okay.
other than liability is liability, but other property.
I see. Okay.
Now, when, say you're looking to maybe switch from one company to another, one insurance company, what's the first step? Just come talk to you?
To call me.
And well, of course. But, are you covered right then when you sign up with you?
We combine coverage upon talking to you, and don't even really have to look at the car, but it's a good thing to look
And
at
if
the
you
car.
have no coverage, say you got, for whatever reason, you just turned 16, you go down there, and how long does it take to actually be covered? Immediately after you sign up?
Yeah, a meeting can be as little as 20 minutes, and if you have a lot of questions, maybe closer to an hour.
Okay.
But if you're going to shop your insurance, you need what's called a declarations page, because most of us don't know. I say most of us. Most consumers probably don't know what their limits are, where they're at right now,
Okay.
and they may know what they're paying roughly a month, but it doesn't tell you what you're covered for. Every insurance carrier charges differently.
Right.
So you need bring your policy or at least a declarations page to your insurance agent or the prospective insurance agent and say, this is what I have. So they can look at it and compare apples to apples and say, well, this might be a little low right here. You might want to look at this. And oftentimes you can raise coverage and get better coverages for a few dollars a month or something.
So if you're shopping for insurance, the key there is don't compare price, compare coverage.
And once you're comparing apples to apples, coverages, then look at the price.
Right. Okay, that's a very smart thing to do. I've just been given the signal that we're out of time, but tell us about your how to get a hold of you.
You can reach us by telephone, 478-3872, or on the web at www.landmarkib for insurancebrokerage.com.
All right, easy enough. They're right there in the old Coppinger building on Stewart Road across from the YMCA. Go by and see Byron. He's a good guy, and he'll fix you up. He sure will. Byron, it's good to see you.
Good to be here.
And we'll learn some more about how to take care of our insurance needs soon, and especially for those people who may have teenagers going to get licensed and how that impacts things as well. We've got to go, but before we do, want to wish Matthew Melton a happy birthday at Lee University.
Right. Happy birthday, Matthew.
And we have Gina Stryker-Moser, who's having a birthday today, so wish them a happy birthday as well. Tonight is a big meeting of the Hiawassee chapter of the American Red Cross volunteer recognition banquet. It's at the First Baptist Church there on Stewart Road at 6:30 tonight. State Representative Kevin Brooks will be the guest speaker, but don't let that keep you away. Kevin's a friend, so he knows I'm teasing.
Kevin's like, Dan.
But it'll be a fun time. Going to recognize a lot of volunteers who assisted the Red Cross during this disaster relief situation that we just had after April 27th. Also, Cruise In coming up on July 23rd around the Courthouse Square. And we had a guest a couple of weeks ago, TVA Home Energy Evaluation. You get 50% of your money back if you do what they say and do some of the energy savings things. Call David Orr at Cleveland Utilities, and you'll be glad you did like I did, because it saved me a lot of money and made my house much more energy efficient. So I'm glad I did that, so it's a good thing. Call David Orr at Cleveland Utilities and save you some money and save us all some energy. We're out of time. Good to see you, Byron.
Good to be here.
Good to see you again, Byron.
Nice to see you, Nikki.
Thank you. Nice to see you too,
Dan. We'll see you again soon.
Okay.
We're out of time. Have a great day. We'll see you on Friday.